Hi, and welcome back to Inspired Alchemy with Lizzie. This is episode 72. And I'm going to preface this by saying they're putting the electrical wires underground, so you might hear noise, you might hear guys out there screaming. I apologize. That's why I've waited this long already. But this has to come out today, so we do things imperfectly. So, this episode is going to definitely be a mishmash of stuff, especially since my brain is kind of unhinged today. So I can't promise you exactly how things are going to come out or what is going to come out of my mouth. But there are a couple of things that I want to, like I said, when I want to talk about. One of the things is, and this was a really hard thing for me to understand, but okay, so I'm going to say this. In Florida, we have different types of people. As you know, we have been getting cold here for Florida. I think I'm in South Florida and it dropped down to feel like 20 something a week ago. It's cooler now again, and we're in the 40s. But up in North Florida, it got really cold, stuff like that. Now there are people who will turn on the heat, and then there are people who refuse because we live in Florida and it's only going to be a couple of days. But then the whole time they're freezing. They're wearing layers and they're covering up and they're doing all of these things. And I'm just like, you're cold. Turn the heat on. For the love of all that's holy, turn the heat on. Why are you causing your own suffering? Because we live in Florida? And it's funny, but it's not. And it just got me thinking about how we do that in life with so many other things. How many times could we reduce being cold if we turned the heat on? How many times could we reduce the blow of certain things that happen in life if we allowed ourselves to connect with other people, to be intimate with ourselves and other people? How much could we soften the blow of this crazy life if we decided, hey, I have this pattern, I'm going to break it. But instead we sit in it. We sit in it and then we complain about it. And sometimes we don't see it, but the times that we do, we continue to perpetuate the same thing. And it's like, why? Why are we doing that to ourselves, right? There has to be another way. There has to be a better way. Put the heat on. I know that this sounds kind of funny, but if you think about it, it's just this cycle that we keep doing because we think, oh, it's just going to last a couple days, or oh, this, or oh, that. But in that moment, let's say you need a hug, right? And you are not one to ask for hugs or ask for help or say, hey, this is what I need. I am guilty of that. Okay. I'm not going to say that I am perfect because I am not. I am far from it. But now I can go, hey, you know what? I need a hug right now. And I will get a hug because in that particular moment, that's what I need. And it, even if it just helps a little bit, soften whatever it is that I'm going through, growing through. And it will allow me to open up space to do whatever it is I'm trying to get done. Then why wouldn't I ask for it? Again, I'm not great at this. I'm still trying to figure out what it is that I need and when I need it. So if there is a time that I need to ask for something, I might not know what it is yet, and you might not know what it is yet, and that's okay. And this kind of leads into the other thing that I wanted to talk about, and it's identity shifts. So right now, with the energy that's going on, things that are happening, and you don't see it, but I'm really talking with my hands today. There's so much. So my business, my first business, Inspired Alchemy, when I first opened it, and I think I've probably said this before, but I'm 72 episodes in, so I don't remember because my mind sometimes is like Teflon and phew, things just fly out. You know, if I had a superpower, okay, I say if I had a superpower, it would be photographic memory. But also, I had this conversation with someone, and If I had a superpower, it would be the ability to have different superpowers at different times because we need them, right? Oh, but I digress. As I shift and as I grow and as I evolve into whoever it is I am becoming, things are changing. So the energy within my businesses are changing. And I'm trying to give myself grace because I don't know exactly what it is I'm supposed to be doing. When I opened, I thought, oh my God, I'm going to be a life coach and I'm going to, this is going to be good and all this stuff. And then it just kept evolving and evolving and evolving so quickly that I'm just like, what am I supposed to be doing? Right? And then Black Cathedral comes up and it's a deep part of my soul and it's necessary because inspired alchemy is what happens inside Black Cathedral. And then the undercurrent is perpetual alchemy, right? So it's the perpetual alchemy that's the undercurrent of everything because we are constantly growing, constantly moving. If we stay stagnant, we don't. Oh, here comes the noise. Okay, so I had to allow that to pass because the big truck that was passing was actually shaking my windows. So, again, perpetual alchemy is what happens as the undercurrent of everything. Inspired alchemy is the inspired actions that we take little by little, intuition, nudges, what we feel inspired to do in that time. Like this morning, I was inspired to just move my body. So I danced for like 30 minutes in my kitchen while I was looking for something to eat. Did I find something to eat? I did not. But I was dancing and I felt like I needed to move and all of those things. And so inspired action, right? Inspired me to reach out to other people and to get conversations going. And it just kind of little by little, even if it's little by little, it kind of just moves, right? And inspired alchemy happens within the Black Cathedral. The Black Cathedral is going to be so many things. It's just a place to be held. And I'm excited, but I also don't know what that means for myself. My identity is shifting big time. I'm moving into these different things and I'm crossing these thresholds like very quickly. And I'm just sitting here and it's like you have whiplash. You're like, what is happening right now? So, in these identity shifts, the people around you are going to shift. They're going to change. They're going to feel it, even if they don't know it. And then you have to stay regulated and be able to shift between these different states in your nervous system, and you have to stay flexible. So it's like this whole beautiful kind of, and I say beautiful because even though it's beautiful, it's also chaos. It's like this dance that you do, right? And then you start to realize, oh, this is how I start feeling when I'm about to shift. This is how I start feeling when things are going to take off this way or this way, whatever it is, right? And it's all these different thresholds that you learn to cross and then you navigate to the next one. And it can be very frustrating. Again, when I first started Inspired Alchemy, I thought it's just going to be a coaching business, right? But then I started learning about alchemy and I like deep alchemy. And then I started learning about polyvagal work. And then I started really diving deep into different types of energy work and now Taoism and all of these different things. And I'm just going, it seems like a lot, right? And then I have to rein myself back in and try to focus in on what it is that the universe is trying to show me. Like, what is this supposed to become? But in that time, I have to kind of sit here and integrate and just watch the things that are going on, watch how energy is shifting, watch my interactions with people, look and pay attention to the opportunities that are possibly coming my way, and then go, okay, do I move? How do I move from here? And it's a lot of awareness, but at the same time, I was reminded to stay present in the moment. And I can get caught up and get really excited about the things that are going on and the things that I'm feeling because I geek out seriously to this stuff. Like I'm just like, whoa. It's like a childlike wonder, or like a kid in a candy shop, right? Where it's like, I can see all of the things. And colors have sound, and sound has colors. And so I have to be careful to also stay present in what I'm doing, and what I'm feeling. And I think that's what happened when I stayed home for 4 days. And I was like, I don't feel like going out into the world. It's like, yeah, no, I have no desire. I just want a potato, right? And so I did. Um, and I was okay with that. And I think that was part of my integration and staying present in the moment. And the very loud talking might start happening because they just parked their truck outside. So all of these things kind of come together. And I'm going to say some words that a lot of us have um, an aversion to, and sometimes we have a visceral reaction to, and it's patience, trust, and surrender to what is. We might want things to be a certain way. We might want things to move quicker or slower or whatever it is, but we kind of just have to take things as they are coming, right? And stay present in our bodies, and allow ourselves to feel things that will ultimately move us forward. We alchemize them. And it's funny because I've been really working on trying to hone in on alchemy and bring it to a kind of description that people can understand, because it is becoming very aware to, I'm becoming very aware that even though I've done this my whole life, it's hard for me to put into words. So I had somebody tell me the other day, and it's kind of like sometimes you have to go through these things to really understand. And it's been a couple of times in the past couple of years where somebody's like, you know what? Honestly, I never really understood what alchemy was until this specific event happened, and you said that would happen, right? It's like you don't know until you actually know. And so I'm working on getting a better hold to explain what alchemy is in terms of how I do my work. Um, and in doing that, I really hope to simplify and it so that people don't take as long as me. Like, I turned 42 this year. I'm just now figuring stuff out. And even though I have done this my entire life, putting it into words is challenging. So that is part of what's going to be happening with Inspired Alchemy, is me kind of trying to simplify everything, right? Right now is a time of really, really simplifying and not overcomplicating things. And that means staying present and paying attention. I still feel like I always have so much work to do on myself. And it's like, oh yeah, kind of like when I thought all these things I started posting online. It's like, oh yeah, there's intimacy there. I'm sharing myself. And then I stayed in my comfort zone with that for a really long time until I was made aware that the things that I was sharing were in my comfort zone, and I was not going out of my comfort zone when it came to intimacy with myself and with other people. And the same thing is happening in other areas of my life. It's like, how do I explain this? As I shift and I grow and I change, I realize that the things that were once in my growth/anxiety zone have now become very much like my comfort zone. So now I'm going to have to start getting out of that. What does that mean? I'm not sure. People say that I need to bring my more unhinged version of myself out. And I don't know, maybe that's the case. Maybe it is. Only time will tell. So I'm sitting in this integration as I grow and evolve and change. And then my businesses will grow and evolve and change. And why do I tell you these stories? Because I don't want you to feel like you're alone. Right now is a time of growth and change for so many people. And I can tell you that the past, I want to say 4 to 5 weeks have been extremely intense. And I've thought that before, but it has been extremely intense. Everybody that I've spoken to is like, what is happening? And we are all shedding as a collective and as individuals. And yes, it is intense. Your sleep cycles might be messed up. Your eating patterns might be messed up. What you're craving, what you're wanting, your desires, all of that might be shifting and changing. And I need you to give yourself grace in these times. And I'm saying this to myself as well, because this is some of the biggest stuff that I have shifted through. And I don't know where it's going from here. And I know that I keep saying that, but even in my own energy work, even in my own studies, I don't know where it's taking me. I can feel it, and it feels expansive, and all of these things feel lofty and scary. But at the same time, it feels aligned. So I've talked about this before, that if you keep moving in an inspired way, even though things feel that they don't make sense, they still feel like alignment. And as we move through these identity shifts and these different growth patterns and all of this stuff, we have to remember that we are trying to meet ourselves in a way that we have never met ourselves before. And so there's going to be kind of like when you meet a new person, there's going to be like that awkward period of like, I don't know. Well, like, what am I supposed to say? Does this person, like, if I say this, is it gonna like make them run away? Or like, if I really show who I am, is it gonna freak them out? And I kind of see meeting myself that way. And I think that evolution, and it sounds really weird, but I can see it in my head. That version of myself, she is not separate from me. We are not separate from these different versions. We just grow and evolve. But she's looking at me, seeing if I can step up to where she is. It's like, how weird can you get? And how comfortable can you be getting weird? And by I say weird, it's just outside the societal norms, which, if you've been here a long time, you know I don't follow anyways. So it can feel daunting and awkward. But then you get to know each other. And you just kind of like when best friends just know what each other's thinking, or you can feel each other's energy, thoughts, whatever. It's kind of like this kind of happens as you merge with that next level of yourself. That other version doesn't go away. It carries everything that you've learned into who you are becoming. Remember, we are unbecoming everything we are not meant to be. Everything that is not for us will fall away as we fall into alignment. And we are becoming everything that we are meant to be. And sometimes it's not going to make sense to people, but that is not your job to explain yourself. And it's okay. People misread me all of the time. And that's okay. And I honestly think that's all I have for you today. And all of this came to me when I woke up at 2:00 in the morning the other day, and I was like, okay, I need to write this down. Because I felt like that's what needed to come out. And so here we are. A ramble from a 2:00 in the morning message to myself. I want to thank you for being here. I have 3 more episodes to get to 75. That is wild to me. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to this messy ramble. and listening to the growth. And I really hope that in me sharing all of this, you feel less alone and you feel brave enough to cross that next threshold, whatever that is for you. It doesn't necessarily have to be big. It can be small, sustainable steps. Yes, small, sustainable steps. Stay present. Work that intuition muscle. This is all part of Inspired Perpetual Alchemy. I want to remind you, just like I always do, that you are not broken, even though society wants to tell us that we are. We are not as disconnected as you think, and we are not as divided as you see. There is good out there, even in the chaos. And if you can't find it, be it. And that's all I've got. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you all so much, and I hope you have an amazing Friday. This is Inspired Perpetual Alchemy. And if you're here, you're an alchemist. Keep going and keep creating alchemy.